Footsteps meet on hardwood floors, laughter spilling from the doors. Different tongues but hearts the same, learning life beyond the name. At the International English Cafe, talk your troubles right away, sip your tea and stories play. At the International English Cafe.
Right. So with that, before I close anything, right? Does anybody have any comments, questions, or thoughts? And this could be about anything. So not just about the meeting, you could literally ask anything, right? You could even ask why the sky is blue. And I'll answer it. I don't know if it's the right answer, but I'll still answer that question. So with that, does anybody have any comments, questions, or thoughts?
I think something must be said about artificial intelligence. I don't know if you guys had talked about that before I got in here, but did you? AI?
So we didn't talk about artificial, or there was a slight mention of it by, let's see, where was it? Jeffrey, when he was talking about his work as a call center representative, and that's something that he would use AI as a way to help research for things in order to be able to respond to the callers.
Can I ask a question about artificial intelligence, or is it too late? I don't know.
Ask away.
Okay. Do you guys believe artificial intelligence will take our jobs away? I mean, think of your career, of your job, of your profession. Do you think you can be replaced by artificial intelligence, or you can take advantage of artificial intelligence in your job?
So, so definitely this is going to be something that we cut off from the video. Technically, this will be something where I would be considering whether or not I'll make a separate video. Right, so that's a preface first, right?
I'm sorry if I spoiled everything.
No, because like that's why I usually have that part of the meeting where like I end it and it's just like, all right, so here's a thing that's outside of the meeting, right? So like we have like a little bit more free time to talk about.
Got it.
It's kind of like free talk at this point. But so when I've talked to a lot of people about this and I have my own thoughts, right? Like initially I would think that yeah, it will be taking away your jobs because it would do something faster than what you were doing. So why would they need to hire you, in which the company has to pay you money, versus them that they had already invested in the system and they'll just do it for them, right? The initial costs of the system at first may be would be putting them into the deficit at first, right? But over time, because they don't have to pay people, then that will save them money in the long run. So that's kind of the idea. But then people would retort back saying like, well, you need people to then work these systems to maintain it. So it will then, even though you might have a job loss, because the AI would be doing one aspect that you would have been doing as your work. But then if you relearn something to be, or if you get into learning how to maintain the system, then now you can pick up a job again, right? So it's, in a sense, you're doing a job transition. But that's, think about it in that time, in that kind of aspect. But when you add in time frame, right? So the amount of time that they can get to an AI system that will literally replace your job, that will be by the time that we would be much older. So this would be something that the next generation would be worrying about, not necessarily us. But what they're doing in some school systems already is they're trying to teach kids how to code, how to program. So they're kind of already guiding them towards this path. So areas in which they're teaching kids how to do this are probably going to have a little bit more of a competitive edge over other kids. But this will be more of a problem that they're going to be worried about, not necessarily us. Because the time frame in order for it, this all will happen should take like at least a good decade or more. My thinking on this is like, if you were to math it out, let's say like you would lose 10 jobs, but then you would gain 5 jobs in terms of the maintenance. There's so this may feel weird because there's many countries that are trying to promote population growth, but then like, do you really need all these people to do all the work if AI is making things more quote unquote efficient? So
Yep.
now we can delve into the efficiency part, right? So when you actually use AI, you don't like many people are using it like the next Google, which if you were to really use AI, you don't use it like Google. You just use it to replace, like to do work for you that you don't want to do, so that the human, could place your mind doing something else and be more productive. So if you consider it in a little bit more in that kind of fashion, like, to add productivity to whatever you're doing, AI would actually be much more beneficial. But I don't think a lot of people is getting to that mindset yet, which is partly why it's a little bit difficult. This will be something that I feel, if we get used to understanding how to really use AI, then we could probably get to there where at some point, whatever jobs that we used to have will be non-existent, but then it would just create new jobs that we would end up doing in the future, or not necessarily we as in everybody here, but we as in like the next generation.
So the idea that some professions will be obsolete, will be abolished, that's real. That's going to happen.
Some things. So like, for example, like let's say like the medical field, I would say it would make it efficient, but would it replace doctors? No.
Yeah, I read I don't know who said that, but the quote was like,
Yeah.
if you can be replaced by a machine, then you must be replaced by a machine.
Yeah. Because in this case, right, it's like the limitation of AI at this point right now is that it's using based off databases that we already have. So as a doctor, you would have experiences that's beyond AI, because there would be experiences that you would have that isn't fully documented, is not fully researched out yet, because there's not enough information for it to tap in, or that information is not readily available for AI to touch, to be able to understand yet. But you as the doctor have the experience. And that's why you kind of have a job security in that aspect. In the future, will there be other more medical cases that might be new? Most likely. And if they can get to a point where the AI programming can self-learn and then just be able to pick it up even better than a human, then okay, well, maybe at that point they can replace doctors. But
yeah, like
technology to get there would be a long time.
Yeah,
we would be dead.
Yeah, when it comes to diagnosing, assessing patients, I see how artificial intelligence can replace doctors, but when it comes to like performing surgeries, I don't see how, right?
Oh, well, that's where the robotics come into play.
Oh,
Like,
everything is
so I mean, it'll be all doable, but even with the diagnoses, like there's going to be certain things that, let's say it's like there's a new disease. The AI won't recognize it because there's nothing in the database that will speak to it. So there'll be something where if they develop the AI really well enough that can think better than a human, like so much more better that like it can then do its own diagnosis and recognize this is new, can just give it a name, a random name, and like understand like this is what you need to do. That would be like, this is what I'm saying, like we would be dead. We won't have to worry about that anymore. That will be the problem of the next several generations after us, I would say.
Yeah. Interesting. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Very insightful.
But I give my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in my case, for me, it's important use the artificial intelligence in this moment and make one mix, use the artificial intelligence and mix my photographs.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The artificial intelligence give many opportunities for create new space or new things. For example, in my case, and try to make new cities, the future, and put the artificial intelligence, but put my photographs. They take the one camera and people, the live, no, live people.
You have to pay for that,
It's
don't you?
very interesting. Yes, and these photographs take in my studio, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, like, but
And the
I'm
mix,
I'm
it's
sure that
very
like the AI
different.
you're using is the paid version, right?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
very interesting. This is for one side. For other side, for the English, I'm in my case, try to the practicing all days and use the artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to the artificial intelligence and I learn new things and try to use all days 50 minutes. And the other, for other side, I learn new words and put in my netbook all day. One word is for me important.
Yeah.
What? It's good. But I think the most important in this moment, try to use the artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Give the opportunity, the learn in this moment and use the artificial intelligence. For example, in my case, in my topic, exists one problem: the rights in the photograph. But it's one tool, the artificial intelligence. One tool that you use correctly, it's very interesting. The things you give the artificial intelligence is very interesting. I think you try to use in your topics and it's good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Can I say something?
Go ahead,
Yes,
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, regarding what you said, Mr. Tick.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the science or yeah the human brain will never there will not be a machine or something that can be similar to the human brain, so something that can be compared to the brain of we have the mind, we feel, we think, but so I think that the human cannot create um, something that can like be similar to the brain, because we have um, neurons, I don't know how to call that. We have many information. There are multiple factors. So
Yeah.
when we realize about something, we feel sadness or happiness, but a machine or a robot cannot feel, and that's another important thing that we can take point.
Sure.
And for example, in my job, when I have a customer that needs something, they prefer a human being to assist them instead of a robot or AI. So yeah, yeah, in my opinion, when I am also requesting for help, I prefer to have a human being assisting me instead of a robot. But maybe in the future that will change. Maybe there will be more capability in the next creation of the technology is gonna increase information. I don't know, maybe, but that is something that will happen in the future. We are still lacking of data. We are still needing human beings in some jobs. Like you mentioned, in the doctor area or the medicine, we need human beings because they have experience. Um, but the robot, it is just data that is that is put is information that is put by humans. So, but I can create things. A robot cannot create things. So, but I can create a something new. Yeah, that's what I think.
So just to bring your attention, because I have lots of books behind me. Like this is why I took the screen off. The My background screen is basically the schedule of all the other hosts because I like to advertise their meetings as well. This is a group effort in terms of the International English Cafe. But in terms of this book, Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari, right? So this is an interesting book. One of the things I would point out here is uh, what makes us different than other living beings on Earth is our ability to imagine. So this is, although other animals may be able to imagine as well, but I think we're the ones that, or at least arrogantly speaking, at least, I think we're the ones that have developed this at least a lot more. So what I mean by this, right, is when you look at other living beings on Earth, we are one of the few that can band together in terms of what is now like millions of people, right? When you see other species of animals, when they band together, it's like maybe in the magnitude of 50 at best. And it's only when you look at insects like ants that they can band together in terms of colonies of millions, right? So what allows us as humans to band together is because of our imagination. We can understand intangible things. So the idea of belief, faith, religion, government, and politics and things like that, that's some of the things that actually hold us together as people. It's very a fascinating thing that allows us to be held together as people. So it's because of that imagination, right? It allows us to be inspired to create, to do lots of things. So to your point, Jeffrey, that is one of the things that will make us different than machines, because if they can ever get to a point where they can program imagination, then AI can completely replace us for sure. But to be able to program it from imagination, I think
do you really
that's
do
a
you
little bit too
really
far off.
do you really think it would happen that can be created imagination?
Well, this is what I'm saying. By the time that if this ever does happen, we would be dead for a long time. So this is not necessarily something that we would need to worry about.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm saying that, like, arrogantly speaking, right? Not just like, that like, oh, I'm saying this as a matter of fact, because it's very an arrogant thing to think that we as humans are considered the best species. We probably might not be, but this is one thing that actually makes us distinct from other species. And this is probably why we kind of cover almost all over the world, right? Think of us humans as if we're invasive species like the fire ants. Once you introduce us into an area, then we kind of take that foothold and start to expand and conquer. So back millions of years ago, before the dawn of civilization, right? You had this west or eastward expansion of Homo sapiens going towards from Africa going towards Asia. Like this is if you buy into the anthropology of things, right? And eventually, like when they're in an area of Southeast Asia, somehow like they were able to have crafts like boats, boat-like craft, not necessarily actual boat, but like boat-like craft where they would be able to kind of like drift over to the neighboring.
Anything buoyant.
Yes, right. To basically drift over to the neighboring islands, where that island is basically has no humans. They have their own ecology, right? Ecosystem. And then when humans touched upon it, then they conquered everything. Right. So it's a very interesting thing, like what we can do as humans, but that's why I like to attribute us humans as if we're like an invasive species. And if we continue this path, what would be next? Probably Mars. And that's not that's probably within our reach. Maybe within either our lifetime or maybe the next
It's
generation.
not sci-fi anymore.
Yeah, right? The hard part I would say is that to create an ecosystem for us to live in over there, because obviously they don't have ozone layers and layers of protection that we have on Earth that allows us to maintain the oxygen that we have in order to breathe, right? That's some of the things that they don't have over there. So even if there's life over there, it doesn't mean that we can live over there yet. It will take even longer for them to develop something, but just that, like with all that space exploration, it's like, see, humans, invasive species, then they jump over. No different than fire, like putting a bunch of fire ants into like your backyard, and all of a sudden it's going to just conquer everything.
That's very interesting. Someone said something about our creativity and stuff, and yeah, I believe that. Like, we could be practicing English or talking to artificial intelligence right now. I could be alone here using artificial intelligence to speak English. So each one of us could be doing this right now. Yet we're here because we've chosen to speak with other human beings. So the human interaction is something that can never be replaced by any machine. Mm-hmm. So even though we can take advantage and use artificial intelligence, at the end of the day, we still need to interact with other human beings because we're very sociable, and we cannot socialize with machines. We can only socialize with other members of our species.
Yeah.
I also can say that there will be danger if it is increasing. Technology is increasing, and as more it is increased, is danger for us. It can be a war in the future, human versus the robots.
I've seen a few movies about that. I've seen that.
Yeah, I like watching movies about technology, robots, because we are technology. We see our around us, and we see the iPhone 16, and it's increasing. We see more technology every day, so it's cool, but it can be dangerous as well.
Sure. Okay, so any further thoughts on this one? Because like this is pretty interesting.
Very interesting. That's why I brought it up.
Did you want to say something, Araway?
No.
Okay.
Everything has already been said. What am I gonna do?
No, I just saw you.
Brought it up.
That's why. But yeah, like some of the things that just the imagination part is the thing that that I find that like these are things that it seems like it's like, oh, like for sure, right? Like it seems like these are things that we should have known already, but sometimes do you recognize it? Do you realize it? Were you aware? Is it something that you think about? Sometimes, no, we're too busy just trying to live and do other things, right? Um, so some of these philosophical thinking is it's not something that we spend our time doing, but uh, it is kind of interesting. You can delve into a little bit of it, just get your mind working. Um, and especially too when you can apply some of this to your own self-reflection, which is always a good thing. Um, gives you a time and space for yourself to just uh, have a status check of your own life or just things around you, right? Because sometimes we just need to pause and just have a status check. Where am I in life? I did this, and this. I need to do this, and this. But I want to do this, and this, right? So, you know, and then maybe this is like, oh, but I just newly realized this, and this, and I don't know where I want to put this into my list of or bucket of things to do yet, right? So it's always nice to have that self-reflection. So Joe says read more. Like there's lots of interesting things to read. So that this is definitely, I would say, one book to read. Sapiens, A Brief History of
I
Humankind.
started it, but I've never finished it.
Mm.
Shame on me.
No. Like I haven't finished it either. I'm like,
Mhm.
let's see. How far am I in this? Where's my thing? I think I passed Scientific Revolution and I'm
He also wrote another one, right?
yeah, the other one that you're well, it's technically 3 books. So next one is this one, Homo Deus.
Yeah, this one, exactly.
So A Brief History of Tomorrow. Technically, there's a 3rd book, but I have not bought the 3rd book yet.
Yeah. So this one is about tomorrow. Speculation is about the future.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That gives me some Space Odyssey vibes.
Yeah. Other than that, like this is not the only book that I'm reading. I like to read other types of books too. So like currently I'm also reading this. This is a different topic, by the way, James. So for those that if you ever heard of Huckleberry Finn, this is a different perspective of that story. Because James,
Serial killer?
well, no,
Is that a serial Huckleberry? Say that again.
Mark Twain book, Huckleberry Finn.
Oh, yeah. The
So he's
writer.
a young boy from the South, and he basically ran away.
Yeah.
And basically, he made it look like he died. So his family mourned for him, but he basically just ran away, right? He was hanging out with a slave named Jim. James is the formal name of Jim. So James is basically the slave's perspective of the whole story. So very interesting. Whether or not like this is a good accurate depiction of it, like I don't know, but like it's a nice deviation from the but still kind of parallel storytelling of how everything happened. So I do like how, that kind of perspective of things. Very interesting.
This is not the one they made a move. They made a move. They made a movie.
Tom and Huck. That's the movie. That's
Yeah.
a Disney
Okay.
movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
What is it called? Slow motion, right? Animation or something.
No, like it was a live animation for Tom.
Because there was a slow motion movie about
they
Mark
have
Twain
multiple they have multiple movies regarding the Huckleberry Finn story.
Okay.
But the more prevalent one off the top of my head is the Disney version with Tom as in Tom Sawyer, which is also a different part of the story to this Huckleberry Finn story. But in the sense with Tom and Huck, with the Disney version, it's kind of like it's when they were both together and they had their own mischief, let's just so to speak.
I
But-
recently read Of Mice and Men, since you're
Ooh,
talking about American literature.
yes, that's
Great
a
one.
really good one. It's kind of sad,
Mm-hmm.
but very good because when I read that as a kid, yeah, like he was big, but he was, mentally not there.
Yeah.
It was just rough.
Yeah. No spoilers here, but it's about a big guy and strong guy having a mental disability or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's sad.
And what happened in the end? I'm sorry.
What happens? We can give
Yeah,
with
this is something
spoilers
that you
because
so
You might
um
spoil it.
so like this is kind of like if you were to think about things in English, right? Like so when you understand English literally, that's kind of like a lot of your basic up to getting to like intermediate level English. So when you can get into more advanced, when you can get to an advanced level of a language, or at least to my belief, right, is when you can understand literature. So with literature, there's lots of kind of devices called literary devices that they may use. Metaphors, similes, idioms. Um, so although like Joe might not like the word actually, but then he said it actually like so much like that. So there's a way where if you do repeat words, it's called I guess what they call it is like an address, right? So like it's a way of when you use it repetitiously, it helps the reader to it creates an impact upon the reader such that they can either understand it or remember it, right? Other devices that use to remember things would be an alliteration.
Yeah.
So the big bag boy, BBB, right? So
Yeah.
because it's three words starting with the letter B,
the repetition of the same consonant,
you're
basically,
starting
right?
with the same consonants, basically, right? So when you hear that kind of sound, it makes it much more memorable, right? So these are examples of like the use of literary devices, and when you can start to understand things in things like in this kind of respect, like you can start to get to a more advanced level of that language. So not only would you see this in English, you would see this in all languages, right? There's there's similes and metaphors in your own language. There's idioms, there's other uses of alliterations and or onomatopoeias or whatever like that. Things like so that this is kind of like why I like literature a lot. Like it's not my forte. This is not my strength, by the way. But I really like reading things like this respect because this is something that it talks to more than what is just written directly. So it's not just prose where it's just direct speech.
You
There's
have to read between the lines and behind the lines, and
exactly. So there's the indirect part, right? So exactly how he said it, like reading in between the lines and behind, forward, back, and everything, exactly like that.
yeah, figurative language, yeah.
So there's all these interpretations because of cultural references or references that they might have built into the literature itself or things like that. So it's a very creative use of expression to storytell. And this is kind of like where, as humans, our ability for storytelling, right, our imagination, essentially like it was verbally told until we were able to write things down on paper
Yeah.
and then be able to record.
I like books that make me stop reading and make me go research about it. Okay, there is something here that I'm missing. I need to do some extra research. I need to, they're talking about some, I don't know, cultural reference, historical reference that I'm missing here. So I have to do I have to do my homework. I have to stop the reading right now and Google some things here so I can, capture nuance and minutia. I
Yeah.
like this kind of literature.
Yeah.
It just sounds so much. I feel behind. Oh no.
So it, there's so there I did have a previous meeting where like I sent people something to read, and let me try to get the link to it because like I have a folder, a Google Drive where I put material on it, and it stays on there. So everybody has access to it because it's specifically for the International English Cafe. Um, let's see, shared files, right? So actually go back one and go like this, share, copy link. So this is the link to that Google Drive, but in that Google Drive, there is something that I would find very interesting for people to read. Some people on the call, Juan Franco, would have read this already. Hope you remember it. Let's see, where'd it go? Share, copy link. So it's called Body Ritual. Oh, wait, don't use this one because this is bad. Body Ritual among the
No.
Nasserima. So if you already heard of this, shh, don't give it away.
Never heard of this. Body ritual
Eh.
among the Nasarima.
Yes.
If you tell me who Nasarima was, is that a spoiler?
This is the part that you have to figure out.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you jump back in this meeting and you still have questions, feel free to ask about this. But this is like this is where like advanced level English is like if you can understand it right away, then you were really advanced. A little bit of a preface. I was given this when I was a sophomore in high school, and back then we did not understand it.
Wow.
And it's only because like when we were explained what it was afterwards, it's like, what the hell? It delves into a perspective, and that when you see things in this perspective, then it's like, oh, okay. But then if you were to then change it to the actual reality, then it's like, wait, like this is what it's really speaking to, right? So this is why I find this something like this very interesting. I don't think any of the other hosts would be able to understand this unless they already came upon this when they were younger. And I only say this is because I don't think this is something that was spread around a lot in terms of American education. So this is kind of like why if you were exposed to what this is, then you would understand and know and may find this a little bit funny. But nonetheless, like in terms of the English, you can understand at least the basic level of what's going on. But when it comes to the whole reading in between the line part, that's where it gets more interesting. So that's available, but nonetheless, like the Google Drive itself has other stuff. So it has game boards too whenever we played categories. Next week, that's what I'm intending. We're just going to play a word game. It has other materials like copies of or like so a literary device table, things where like we were noting things down for like chronological order or time management matrices, things like that. A short story reading, even like a list of table topics, which maybe at some point, if I don't come up with an idea, I'm just going to use that and just have people answer questions. So there's a bunch of materials there. So feel free to peruse. I do intend to add more, so you may see more stuff. This is not going to be it. It's just whenever I have meetings, if I'm intending to upload more stuff, I'll upload it there.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. By the way, Wagner, or Wagner, Wagner.
In Portuguese, people call me Wagner, but in English, everybody says Wagner. So feel free to
Yeah.
call me Wagner.
Because like it's the whole, because it's kind of like a Germanish name, so
Yeah.
like that's I get the V part more than the
Mhm.
W. In terms of the whole speaking fast thing, don't worry about it. If anything, like
Yeah.
I don't mind that, mainly because not necessarily that like because I am able to understand, but like I do like it if people have different paces of how they speak. This is also giving exposure to people to. This is like, hey, like there's this person being able to speak this fast. Can I be able to catch up with them? Or,
Yeah.
because if I speak slowly, that's one thing. But if I speak a lot more faster, I don't know if I can understand what they're saying because
Yeah.
I'm talking really fast.
Yeah.
Right. So it provides an interesting mix. So to me, like I'm okay.
Yeah. Like when I'm speaking with my more basic students, I speak slower. I try to enunciate words more and I try to move my mouth, articulate this,
Mhm.
But when I'm normally speaking, I speak fast because I speak fast in Portuguese, my native language. So that's a personal linguistic trait of mine that I apply to all the languages that I speak. I only speak two. So, but if I learn how to speak Japanese, I'll probably speak Japanese fast.
Yeah.
Of course, I can try to deliberately slow down a little bit so people can understand me. But normally speaking, like casually speaking, I speak fast.
Yeah. Like for my, like, I'm of Vietnamese descent. Vietnamese people do the same thing. So I totally I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. And and I tell my students, okay, I can slow down for you, but native speakers, they usually don't. They speak way faster than I do. So yeah, I can do that. But you also should work on your listening. So you have to become capable of listening and understanding fast speech, because this is not even fast for many of them. The pace that I'm speaking right now is not even considered fast.
Yeah. Which is why, like, so with a meeting like mine, like I do like the challenge aspect to, provide like exposure to things that you might not be used to, so that like you have a different flavor. Like, okay, this is how other people talk. Some people may have accents, some people, or I mean, we all have accents. It doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
I'm born here, but I technically have what's considered a Connecticut accent. So, which is, for example, mountain, not mountain, mountain. You drop your T,
Mountain.
right?
Like a lot of
Button
stop.
instead of button, right?
Yeah. But if you enunciate it, do you say button, mountain?
When
I climbed a mountain
like
yesterday.
when you're purposely trying to enunciate, sure. But when you naturally speak with and it's the accent, right? So lots of like the Connecticut accent is kind of close to standard American English in certain aspects. It drops the T's for those type of words, and it drops the G for ing words, right? Those are like the two more prevalent things. Sometimes you might have accents in Connecticut, or Connecticut accent that slides into the accents from other areas of New England area, like either a Bostonian or a Maine accent, where they don't really pronounce the R's, or they pronounce the R's in a weird way. For example, like idea, it's like idea.
Idea?
Yes.
Idea.
Yeah. It's like they literally would add an R to the word
Yeah.
idea to make it idea.
An intrusive R for no reason whatsoever.
Yep. So it's that kind of speech, right? It's kind of interesting.
Do they also say law and order? Law and order?
Yeah. But that would be like certain areas of Connecticut. It wouldn't be like that's like the area that when you're getting close to the map, like a little bit going towards Boston and or Maine, like you'll start to hear more of that.
Okay.
Otherwise, the other end of Connecticut, that's westward, that would be you'll hear more that something that blends with New York, like coffee, for example.
Coffee,
Yep.
yeah. Walk. Have to walk to get a coffee.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you say like the past? How do you say the passive catch?
Caught. Like
And how do you say? And how do you say COT?
caught?
Do they sound the same?
Caught and caught.
Okay.
It's like
And-
because like there's the ought, like I
Okay.
oughta do something like versus like ought, like so it's a little bit more short. That's when you enunciate, but when you get lazy, it does blend and sound the same. So yes.
Do you say I'm sorry I got caught, or I'm sorry I got caught? How do you say got and caught? Do they sound the same in your accent?
I got caught.
I got caught.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, nice. Interesting. Do you say daughter or daughter?
Daughter.
Okay, with the more ah sound, daughter, right?
Yeah.
Do you say dollar or dollar?
Dollar.
Do you say hot dog or hot dog?
Hot dog.
The same sound
Yeah.
for hot and dog. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Very interesting.
But that's just how I grew up. I wouldn't say like I have like what is considered like actual Connecticut accent, because hearing other people talk, I'm like, I don't know how to talk like you.
Interesting. Yeah. Really cool. I've never heard anyone from Connecticut. I've heard people from Utah because I had a few friends here in Brazil. They were from Utah. I also have friends from Arizona, and my girlfriend is from New Jersey. So these are the accents I hear the most. But I don't remember ever hearing anyone from Connecticut. You're the first.
Yep. Okay, there we go. All right. So
Sorry, interrupt you.
Yep.
I have to go too.
yeah,
So
like that's kind of like what I was
Late
thinking
for
about,
me.
because like it is like 1 o'clock where I am, and like I
Yes.
should close the call as well.
10:57 here in Mexico.
Yep.
So
So
nice to see you, and thank you for everything.
Yep. So with that, I call meeting adjourned, and yeah, thank you for coming. I'm doing this bit because obviously I want to clip this part to end the YouTube video, but nonetheless, I'll see you guys next week, hopefully. Next week's topic is word games, vocabulary building / language arts. Most likely I might do the category game, but if I come up with something different, then it'll be in my meeting notification. So with that, I bid you all adieu and bye. Have a good night, good morning, and good day, and good afternoon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
all.
you.
Bye, good
Thank you,
night.
Ty.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Night, night.
Bye-bye.
Sleep tight.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And then click.
Words collide like fiddles hum, every accent's welcome some. Round the table, dreams are shared, across the world and love is aired. At the International English Cafe, talk your troubles right away, sip your tea, let stories play. At the International English Cafe, we don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy quarter lamp. Face to face we find the way, in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork lives with thread we weave, stories told when you believe. At the International English Cafe, words align like fiddles hum. At the International English Cafe, words collide like fiddles hum. Every accent's welcome some. Round a table, dreams are shared, across the world and love is aired. Our love is aired, across the Face to face we find the way in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts I trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. Here's your face we find the way in a little cafe day after day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork little cafe day. Maps and charts might trace the globe. We don't need no passport stamp, just a cozy corner lamp. Face to face we find the way in a little cafe day after day. Maps and charts might trace the globe, but here we spin our own wardrobe. But here we spin our own wardrobe. Patchwork lives with thread we weave.